Hi everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, Hens and Harvest. These right here are some of our hens. And right over here is Kristen. She's going to be doing some of the harvest today. So this is our first raised garden bed. We did 2 years ago. The original garden bed that we started with. We had to do it all over again. Obviously we would probably use a little bit different wood, but it turned out great. Everything we put in there grows absolutely phenomenally. The next year, last year, we added these two short beds and we found out real quick that that wasn't going to be enough. Beginning of this year, we added these two long garden beds. They're 16 feet long by 4 feet wide, and we implemented the cattle fencing, which is absolutely beautiful. In the front, we have the Chinese noodle beans. They're at the end of the season now, so there's very few of them left. We had hoped that we were going to have some beans and other things on the last two cattle fences going over, but that's something we're going to have to change for next year. And Kristen also planted these beautiful flower beds in the back. It's just been a treat for us to wake up in the morning and come downstairs and have coffee and look out the window and see all these beautiful colors. As the saw goes in the background and the hammers go, and should have been here last week when the scaffolding fell on our house and punched a hole through our garage, but we have good neighbors and the contractor took care of it, so we're pretty easy going, folks. The charcoal in the chimney is just about ready, and you can see that they're starting to turn. I'm going to go ahead, they're pretty hot. I'm going to go ahead and show you what we're going to do. If any of you guys like smoking like I do, you got to get you a Weber Smokey Mountain or something, because these things are just awesome, and everything we cook in it we absolutely love. So once these charcoals are ready to go, we're going to be careful with this and hopefully it won't fall apart. We're just going to go over here and we're going to drop them right in the center of all these other charcoals. What this is going to do is it's going to get everything started and the heat going. And as it goes, it's going to slowly light all the other charcoal briquettes on the outside. That way you have a longer burn time. And you can cook foods or smoke foods that take a long time to smoke or cook. That's why I choose to use the minion method. The charcoal that we always use is Kingsford Original. We like that, tastes best. And the reason why we use this is because we absolutely do not like using any type of lighter fluid. Every time we've ever used lighter fluid in the past, we've always been able to taste it. Some people say, oh no, it burns off, but ever since we stopped using lighter fluid, everything started tasting better. And why fix it if it isn't broken? We're going to keep using what we like best. And we're going to use hickory. We used hickory, cherry, and apple. Pretty much use hickory most of the time. Sometimes we use apple with it. But that's what we like best on our chicken and our smoked pork and those kind of things. So we pretty much stick with what we like, and so that's what we're going to use today. Once this gets going, we're just going to simply put this right back up on top. It sits right in there. Now there's a little water basin down in the bottom here, And what we're going to do is once this gets going, we're going to put in hot water in the basin. We're probably going to fill it about half to 3/4 full. That way it's going to smoke and steam in there, and it's going to make our chicken real juicy when it's all finished. So once you get your charcoal going, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some of this water in, and just be careful not to burn yourself as always. Some people do it two different ways. Some people use, they just put water in there. The people that I watch on YouTube, they always say to use hot water, so that's what we're going to do. I'm by no means an expert, but I will mimic what others that I like to follow in the barbecue world do, so I'll do like they do. Go ahead and look in there real quick. So that should be, that's about 2/3 full. We could probably use a little more or a little less. It doesn't really matter as long as there's some water in there. That should last throughout the cook, so. The reason why they say to use hot water versus cold water, at least the reasoning that I have come across, is if you use hot water, it takes less time for your grill to come up to temperature than if you use the cold water. If you use the cold water, then the coals are going to have to work harder to heat that up, so that's why we're using the hot water. As far as the vents go, I've got everything open, wide open. There's 3 vents on the bottom and 1 vent on the top. I'm going to leave these wide open till everything gets going up to our temperature, which is going to be probably around 250 to 275. That's the cooking temperature we're going to do today. Once it gets up there, then I'm going to start manipulating some of the vents to try to maintain that temperature. Once we get that going, then we'll be able to put our chicken on the grill. So once we get that going, we'll get the chicken ready, and we'll show you how to do that next. So this is pretty much all you need to have for this recipe. I said earlier that it's pretty simple. This is a Simple Truth organic free-range chicken. Pretty much everything we eat is organic. That's our choice, so that's what we decide to do. This particular chicken is about 5 pounds, a little bit over 5 pounds. It'll be perfect. It'll probably take between 2.5 to 3 hours to cook out on the smoker. So pretty much it's really simple. We're just going to go ahead and going to get this chicken opened up. Once we get it opened up, we're going to dry it off real good. And as soon as we get it opened and dried off, we're going to take out the packet that's on the inside cavity of the chicken. You don't want to forget that. I try to do this with making as little of a mess as possible. If you check on the inside, here's the packet I was talking about. We don't eat any of this, so that's going to go in the trash. Just going to check on the inside, make sure there's nothing else left in there. Let me get rid of this. Okay, now we got all that taken care of. The chicken's out of the pack. We're going to go ahead and dry it off as good as we can. Make sure you give it a good dry. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, first and foremost, since it's beer can chicken, you obviously want to get a beer. Today we're going to use this beer. You want to drink about half of the beer. Don't pour it out because that's beer foul. So once you get your beer down to halfway, we're going to use about 3 cloves of garlic. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the garlic and put it inside the beer can, and that's all you're going to have to do as far as the beer goes at this point. We're going to go ahead and put on our rub. Today we're going to be using what's called kickin' chicken, and we're going to rub it all over the outside, maybe a little bit on the inside, and lightly salt and pepper it. Kickin' chicken.
Really, I don't know if it focused, but we'll see. Okay.
So there's no right or wrong way to put rub on the chicken, at least as long as you get it spread pretty even and you don't use entirely too much. It's all going to soak in. The flavors are going to be really good no matter what you do. Just make sure you cover it thoroughly. Make sure you get underneath the wing and up on the neck. Every little bit counts. And that looks like about all she wrote for that little bottle of rub. Same thing with the pepper and salt. Make sure you get that rubbed in real good and get it thorough into everything. Next, we're going to put some salt on it. We're using Mediterranean sea salt. Okay, now once you have that going, the next thing we're going to do is get our garlic and put it in our beer. You said 3 cloves, right?
Yeah.
So that's what, 3 teaspoons?
3 half teaspoons.
3 half teaspoons. 3 half teaspoons. Okay. That might be a little bit too much beer, so yeah, that's about half right there. Perfect. So all we're going to do is we're just going to put 3 half teaspoons right down in the beer. And just remember, it's not an exact science. If you like garlic and you like the garlic flavor, you can use a little bit more or a little bit less. It doesn't matter. And since we like garlic, I'm going to put a little bit more in there. So this is the last step in preparation before we put our little bad bird on the grill. Sometimes it goes on easy, sometimes it's a little more difficult. Just be patient. It's the messiest part. Like I use these disposable food gloves. This cavity's open pretty good right now, so we probably won't have too much of a problem. But you're better off doing it here in the kitchen using a pan than waiting to do it out on the grill, because then you're asking for all kinds of problems when you add the heat and everything in. So it pretty much fit right on it. And when we set it on the grill, we're just going to set it like this. It's going to be its own little tripod, and it'll sit right on there, and it's just going to smoke just like that. There are some items that we've used in the past, the little metal stands that you can use, where you can put the beer can in the stand. What we found with the Weber Smokey Mountain is some of those sit up a little too high. When they sit up a little too high, your bird sits up a little higher, and it gets a little bit more cooked on top because the dome isn't as high when you use those things. So we just do it like you know, everybody else does it, and use the beer can, and it works just fine. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put this out on the grill. So now we're out to the grill, and like I said before, we're gonna cook this primarily between 250 and 275. That's about the highest smoke point you're going to want to use. I've already went ahead and choked up my bottom vents a little bit. It's right at 275. Once I put my bird in there, it's going to drop a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bird in there right now, and then I'll adjust it just to get it down. I want to get it closer to about 250. And you want to put it pretty much in the center of the grill. Just make sure that you have it right in the middle. It just makes it easier to manage. And that's pretty much all you have to do. And it fits right on there. The temperature did drop since I had the grill top off. But I'm going to go ahead and adjust these to where they're down to, they're only open to about a third. Everybody has their own method. I haven't found anybody's that, you know, quite explains it to where it's worked perfect every time. If any of you guys follow T. Roy Cooks, he does about the best explanation of using the vents and stuff. But, you know, you do what works for you. I think I will close this top vent just a little bit, but keep it open more than the other ones. Just be careful and don't burn yourself. Up to 275 again. We're going to sit here and we're going to monitor this a little bit. What time is it, Kristen?
3:54.
So we're going to come back in about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to see what the temperature gets up to. And if we have to open or close the vents a little bit more, we'll go ahead and do that just so we can get down to a manageable temperature that we want to cook the bird within. Okay, it's been a few minutes. We come back out. It's right at about 270, which is fine. As long as we keep it there and don't get it any hotter, I think we're going to be okay. Most important part of all this is adding the wood, the hickory. So we're going to go ahead and take a few chunks, and we're going to go ahead and try to place it in here at a couple different spots. Just be careful not to burn yourself. And that is all there is to it. And so, you know, we're not experts at barbecuing by any means. Everything that I have done today and everything that I've learned has been pretty much from trial and error, watching other people on YouTube videos do. A lot of things we like, a lot of things we don't like. Okay guys, it's been about a half an hour. You don't want to come out and check it every 5 to 10 minutes, but every 20 minutes to 30 minutes is probably sufficient. Temperature's rolling about 260 right now, which is about right where I want it. we're going to go ahead and check it real quick just to see what it looks like after a half an hour. As you can see, it's looking pretty good. It's getting that smoke that we want. You can smell it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the bottom here in just a second, and we are going to see if we need to add any more hickory to it. Okay, as you can see in there, that hickory's going pretty good. We don't need to add any more to it. We've got plenty of charcoal on the outside, and everything is rolling just how we want it. So we're probably going to give it about another half an hour, and we'll come back out and check it again after another half an hour, and we will be back. Okay everyone, it's been about an hour and 10 or hour and 15 minutes so far into the cook. We're going to go ahead and check on it and see what it looks like now. It's looking fantastic, looking really moist. There's plenty of water in the pan down below. The temperature is about 265. We're going to go ahead and put the lid back on. Let it keep cooking. It's going to go back up since we took the lid off. We're going to check down below, check the coals. There's still some good coals. There's still some good hickory down there, so we're not even going to mess with it. So what we're going to do now is we're about halfway through the cook. So we're going to go ahead and get the other grill started, just like we did the first grill, and this is the one we're going to grill our vegetables on. That some of the peppers and stuff that Kristen took out of the garden beginning of the video, we've chopped a lot of those up. We've added with some onions. We already ate all the onions that we harvested this year, so we had to cheat and buy some organic onions from a local grocery store, and also a few organic mushrooms. So we put those in a bag, in a gallon Ziploc bag, and put some Newman's Own Italian dressing just to have them marinate in there for about a half an hour to an hour before we go to cook them. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started for the second grill we're going to have going. And in about a half an hour, we're going to go ahead and get those going. So hopefully we can time this right to where we're going to be having our vegetables and our chicken about the same time. They're going to get done about the same time. Now the chicken's going to have to rest for about 10 or 15 minutes once it reaches temperature. We might also throw on some fresh corn on the cob too on this grill. We're just going to see how much room we have. Other than that, as soon as this gets going, we'll be back and show you what we're doing next. So all this cooking has piqued the interest of our little Bantam hen that we have. The only one that we have, her name's Bonnie, and unfortunately for us, she's the only one that can get out of the pen at will, and she decides to go where she wants to go whenever she wants to go. So that's little Bonnie. She wasn't one of the original flock that we got. She's sort of one that we inherited from the handyman that sort of came over and gave her to us. And now we know why, I guess. But anyhow, we love her to death, and she's part of the crew, just like all the other hens.
When you're gonna grill corn, you should always soak it for like half an hour first what I do is I take the outer leaves down like this. And then these inner leaves, I take them off. And all the silk, I'm going to get all that off.
So you just wrap it back up after you've taken all the inner stuff off?
You take these outer leaves and put them back like this and wrap it up. And
I had to
then
ask her to do this because I always screw it up every time I do
you
it.
always take all the outer leaves. Or no, I don't know what you do. But
I take the outer leaves off.
and then you
I
take
do
a
it
little
opposite.
piece and you just tie it so it stays closed. I just ripped a little piece off of here and tie it.
So you just get a little piece off of one of the ones that you
Yep.
ripped off and you use it to tie the end so
And then
it's all
we'll soak
covered.
this in water in case you get a bigger bowl. But we'll soak this in water for about 30 minutes before we put it on the grill.
Awesome. Okay guys, it's been about 2 hours now. We're going to go ahead and check the temperature with our handy dandy instant temperature reader. According to this, it should be 165 or above. We're going to check it. It's probably close. I would say that it's probably not quite done, but the chicken looks beautiful right now. We're just going to go ahead and check it in the top here real quick. Okay, that's saying 172. And the liquid's coming through clear. That side's saying about 158. I'm going to put this back on and come back and check it about every 15 minutes now. It's getting close. It's not quite there. It's still running about 260, 265. Check down below. The wood's burning great. The coals are still good, and we still have a sufficient amount of water. Over here on our second grill, we are going to get our vegetables started. I'm going to go inside and get our vegetables. We chopped up onions, mushrooms, and some of the peppers that Kristen picked, and we're going to go ahead and put those on here in just a minute. Since our chicken's getting close, we're going to go ahead and put our vegetables on. We basically just chop these up into little bite-sized pieces, and I've got a little grilling basket here. If you don't have one of these, get one of these. These things are great for doing vegetables. We have it marinated, like we said earlier, in some, what was it called?
Paul Newman's.
Paul Newman's Italian dressing. And we let it marinate in the refrigerator for about a half an hour to 45 minutes. We're just going to stick this on the grill. Oh wow, that smells great. So we're going to check the chicken about every 10 to 15 minutes from this point on. And as far as the vegetables go, I'm going to pretty much stay out here to make sure these things don't overcook. We got charcoal on half of the grill. We got a cold side and a hot side. That way it's easy for me to just turn it, and that way, you know, we can sort of manage the cooking time just a little. That's not going to take as long as these vegetables. So once I turn this probably one time in about 5 minutes, I'll go ahead and stick the corn on here. In case you guys were wondering, I did forget to put some of the hickory wood on it. We're going to do that now. We like not just our meat smoked. We also love our vegetables smoked. And if you haven't tried it, you should try it sometime. If you don't like it, then don't do it. But if you do, it's great. It adds an extra layer of flavor to all your vegetables other than the seasoning that you put on them. Okay guys, it's been about another 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and stick our corn on here now and get some of these vegetables turned around. We're not going to put these over the direct heat quite yet. Just going to stick them on the outside of our basket here. And this way we can sort of manage it a little bit better. This way it'll get some of the smoke flavor and it'll heat up. And as the vegetables get going, we'll have to jimmy these back and forth on the grill just to make sure there's not a whole lot of room, even though it's a 22 inch. But it's always sort of an art to try to get everything cooking the right way and then timing it to where it all finishes up. And when you go to eat, everything is a little bit warm. So, but we're going to go ahead and put the lid back on, and we're going to come back out in about another 10 minutes or so. We're going to recheck our bird over here. It's going great and looking great, and then we'll be back to turn this and maybe move the corn around just a little bit. So what I did was I put the corn on the hot side just to get a little char going here. I knocked the coals down a little bit. They were just a little bit too high, which is fine because this will it'll give the other vegetables a little bit of a break. You want to get your vegetables cooked and charred real good, but you don't want to overcook them to where they're all black. But we're going to go ahead and leave this on here for a couple minutes. We're going to check the temperature of the chicken again. We're going to go ahead and check our chicken again. And man, is it looking awesome. So this side's registering about 172. That side's registering about 162. We'll check in the back here. About 162. And then over here in this little leg part, about 160. So we're going to let this go just a little bit longer, probably about another 5 minutes. The vegetables are going to take a little bit longer. We're going to rotate this just a little bit again, and hopefully that side will get a little bit warmer than the other side. Check these vegetables one more time and see the corn. Corn's looking good and charred. Flip those over a little bit. I think our chicken's about ready. I'm going to go ahead and check it one last time. It's right up to 170. It's about 168 on that side. So we know our bird is done. The juice that's coming out is real clear. Look at that juice coming out. Oh yeah. So once you got your bird off the grill, a good trick is being able to get the can out. So hopefully this is going to work for me and not make a liar out of me. But you sort of want to push down with like a wood spoon or something, and then hopefully you can pull it up off of here, it's still pretty hot. Then you'll have to loosen it up just a little bit. And then once it should slide up. But just be really careful because the can is hot. There you go. That'll work. And that is one finished bird. What do you think, Kristen?
Looks delicious.
If you guys don't have a good pair of grilling gloves, I would suggest that you invest in some. Kristen bought me these for Father's Day. Was it Father's Day?
No.
But it makes it a lot easier when you're handling metal. So finish up this corn. Okay folks, the corn is finished. It's got a nice little char on it just like we like. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. Is that not amazing or what? Look at that. Just got to get in the joint. There we go. We got the joint on that side. I know there's a sweet spot for these wings too. There it is. It's a wing. I've got it all cut up. It looks absolutely delicious, and I'm sure it tastes the same. I'm not gonna sit here and bother you by watching me eat this beautiful meal, but if you liked our video, please give us a like down at the bottom, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And hopefully we'll be able to get you guys some more content out there, because we really enjoy doing these videos, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the rest of what we have to offer at Hens and Harvest. Thank you.